Friend, welcome. I'm trying to learn histology. Today, conditions affecting tissue repair. And after we talk about, we're gonna do shoulder and pinch training. And if you participate in the shoulder pinch training, das wird hier auch nicht. Conditions affecting repair. 3 factors affect tissue repair: nutrition, blood circulation, and age. Okay, we have the 3 which we name here. I'm certain there are more. Are nutrition, blood circulation, and age. So what the person is eating, but I think we're going to explain it better now. How the blood is circulating in the body, and also what age we have. Nutrition is vital because the healing process places a great demand on the body's store of nutrients. I would like to, I'm wondering since quite some time about that, I like to have numbers whenever someone says great or something like that. So that great demand, what does it mean? That can be from almost nothing, which could be still considered as great, like 10% of one day, to great 1 month, 80% of all you eat, based on these nutrients. So let's say someone has an injury, and a muscle injury, and the muscle heals for 2-3 months. And is that now affecting like 5%, 10%, or 80%? And the whole human body is actually completely working on that, basically all force. And not like 5%. What is happening if a second injury comes? And so on. I want to have numbers. What if someone gets a second injury at the same time? Is it then, yes, we're just giving 5% to the injured arm is enough? 5% for the leg? Or is it no, the arm took 80% for a whole month? That is my question. Is it 5% or is it 80%? If it's 5%, it's no problem to have a second injury. But what if it's 80% and a second injury comes? That would mean it's just the half there. Is it now that it's not all necessary and also the half could be also all there? Or is it when actually cut it through half and 1 month healing becomes 2 months healing? If we're saying great, that is probably based on at least observations, maybe even measured things, and I would like to have that data. Nutrition is vital because the healing process places a great demand on the body's store of nutrients. Adequate protein in the diet is important because most of the structural components of the tissues are proteins. Okay, the tissue itself consists a lot out of proteins, and therefore protein is important in the diet. But the other thing is, how much protein can, so back to what I just said, how much protein can be eaten now if there's a muscle to be repaired or whatever type of tissue? From the giant size of volume or mass which this muscle has, these are just a few grams, maybe 100 grams. It's not that much to eat. I don't know about how much now protein that would be eatable, but that wouldn't be much overall on all what is eaten. Because maybe 100 grams protein, I don't know, but the reality is, what is now a great demand? Is it just, does it need more than it has to build in, because it is not completely effective, or does it just need 20-30 grams? I don't think how much protein people are eating, but on the whole mass what a person is eating, 20-30 grams is really not much. And when someone has to think that such a muscle is healing over weeks or months, what about 20 grams? Adequate protein in the diet is important because of the structural components of the tissue are proteins. Several vitamins also play a direct role in bone healing and tissue repair. Okay, there are many vitamins very important and proteins to heal tissue. For example, vitamin Z directly affects the normal production and maintenance of matrix materials, especially collagen. Okay, vitamin C is important for production and also the maintenance of some type of matrix material. This is necessary for tissue repair, obviously. And of collagen, that is also the part which is important for the fibrous tissue or something. Vitamin Z also strengthens and promotes the formation of new blood cells. Okay, vitamin C is also important for blood cells. With vitamin C deficiency, even superficial bones fail to heal, and the walls of the blood vessels become fragile and are easily ruptured. Okay, if people have vitamin C deficiency, but maybe we're talking about severe vitamin C deficiency, when bones don't heal properly, and the walls of the blood vessels become fragile and are easily ruptured. And again, this is histology, but we're coming now a bit into that direction. This is no medical advice, we're just reading about it. In tissue repair, proper blood circulation is essential to transport oxygen, nutrients, antibodies, and many defensive cells to the injured site. Okay, proper blood circulation is the delivery system. The body also plays an important role in the removal of tissue fluid, bacteria, foreign bodies, and debris, elements that would otherwise interfere with healing. Okay, through good blood. Okay, we're talking about blood quite some. Through good blood circulation, the important things like, I don't know if the vitamin C itself, but proteins or whatever the nutrients necessary are being poured in, and they're also on their way back taking things with them. For example, tissue fluid, bacteria, foreign bodies, and debris, which would just lie there around and be annoying for tissue repair. Aging in tissues. Generally, tissues heal faster and leave less obvious scars in the young than in the aged. In fact, surgery performed on fetuses leaves no scars. I heard that once, that's why I'm not astonished. And but in one age here, I'm not sure if now is not a bit exaggerated. The younger body is generally in a better nutritional state. Okay, they are all over better in a nutritional state. But I think that is not just because of eating, that is because the food is better. I don't know it, but I don't think it's just about eating. But that has something to do with it. I heard that people who get older have more problems to know when they get dehydrated, when they have drunk enough. So it could be also a bit part of nutrition itself. The younger body is generally in a better nutritional state. Its tissues have a better blood supply, and its cells have a higher metabolic rate. Whatever that means, the cells have a higher metabolic rate, and also the blood supply is better. Thus, cells can synthesize needed materials and divide more quickly. They can synthesize. What does synthesize mean? I wondered about it in chemistry, and that means something. I don't know. I tried to have a bit confused a bit. No, it was not in chemistry. It was in histology. Whatever, we can get the materials better because the blood supply is better, the body is in a better nutritional state, and the metabolic rate of whatever cells is better, whatever. I don't understand what metabolic rates of something means. The extracellular components of tissues are changed with age. Collagen fibers, responsible for the strength of tendons, increase in number and change in quality with aging. They increase in number and change in quality. Do they increase in number because they are less good and they have to be more? Something like that? Because one could think that they increase in number. They increase in number, they have to be strong enough. But my theory, just my first thought, is they are not that good, so the body is making more of them. These changes in the collagen of arterial walls are as much responsible for the loss of extensibility as are the deposits associated with atherosclerosis, the deposition of fatty materials in arterial walls. Let's read it again. Collagen fibers, they are responsible for the strength of the tendons, increase in numbers and change in quality with aging. These changes in the collagen of arterial walls, so the collagen in the blood delivering arterial walls, seem also to get more but less in quality. That has also changes on the blood vessel walls, and it is responsible for their loss of extensibility, so they don't extend it much good anymore. And they are also responsible for the deposits associated with atherosclerosis, the deposition of fatty materials in arterial walls. They say the collagen. The changes in the collagen, if there are more collagen in less quantity, is less in amount. What do I say, quality or quantity? Quality. They are more in quantity, less in quality. So they are more of them, but they are worse. They are responsible that fatty deposits are made in the arteries, leading to atherosclerosis. Whatever. Maybe you read it a bit wrong. Elastin, another extracellular component, is responsible for the elasticity of blood vessels and skin. So elastin, that is another extracellular component that is responsible for the elasticity of blood vessels and of the skin. So the skin and the blood vessels getting less What was it? Elastic, because elastin is missing. Or that's good. Or whatever. Maybe it's a bear. They didn't say that it's more or less good. Maybe elastin comes as responsible that it doesn't. But I think it's very. And collagen is more necessary, I guess not, but it is worse. It's more made, but worse. What is responsibility arteries are not extended good? Is that all? Basic question is that the problem? Or are there more problems? Because oftentimes, if one looks at what the problems are, so oftentimes are very few. There are a lot of different things which have affect very few numbers, which are very rare, which affect also one in a million or 1 in 100,000. But all the other things which affect almost everyone, are this just is that the problem, or is it one of the problems? That the thing with the elastin and the collagen. It thickens fragments and acquires a greater affinity for calcium with age. Okay, the elastin gets more thick. Okay, like rubber, more the thicker the tire, the thicker the rubber is, the more can it hold. And it acquires a greater affinity for calcium. Affinity for calcium, whatever. I think it wants more calcium. With age, changes that may also be associated with the development of atherosclerosis. Okay, also that the elastin in the cells wants more calcium. Has to do with atherosclerosis. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's more or less clear from the context. Or than all. Now that was histology. If you were here for histology, when you go directly to the next part of histology, we will do now the Marshall. No. We will do now the short and pinch training. Every stand participating in the short and pinch training when it's better at the armrest. Go to the stable stance and do short circles. We come back, up, and front, and down. And backwards. And now long arm, strong fists, and go as far back as you can with the shoulders. High up, and front, and down, and back. Up, and front, and down. And again up, and back, down. They named these three things. For what it was. It's just these three what are responsible. So are just these 3 things. And that the article seems to end there. That was the end of the article. Are there not more problems? So is it with calcium and with elastin and with collagen? Are these with 3-4 problems? Let's continue with short and pinch training. We are doing the void lifter. Go to the stable stance, shoulders down and together. And now turn the arms to the inside. Shoulders down and together. Arms to the outside, shoulders down, and together. Arms to the inside, shoulders down, and together. Arms to the outside, shoulders down, and together. And release. Arms to the side, head in front, the fists, turn the arms in front, shoulders down and together. Arms in front, shoulders down and together. Arms back, shoulders up and front up. And arms in front, shoulders down and together. Arms back, shoulders up and front. And release. And now, lift the arms up and the shoulders up and let it go down. If this or any other exercise causes pain, then don't do it. Arms up, shoulders up, and go down. And the last time, arms up, shoulders up, and go down. And that's the cut. Arms together, down to the outside. And now, stretching. One arm in front, shoulders back, and down. Pull the arm, have flat fingers, stretch, relax your arm. Go a bit back with the shoulder, to the palm a bit up to the sky. And the other arm in front. Shoulders back and down. Pull the arm and have flat fingers. Try to relax your arm. Go it back or shut. Turn the palm up to the sky. And that was the short mention today. I thank you very much and until next time.